Welcome to Workshop Wednesday with measurementmarketing.io, where we're going to go through what's new for November 2023. Welcome. My name is Julie Roddy, the Director of Measurement for measurementmarketing.io. Quick little bit about myself. Been building actionable dashboards for a number of years and been teaching measurement marketing to measurement marketers like yourself for quite some time. And you may have seen us back there in the Measurement Marketing Academy with courses, workshops, and all of those fun goodies back there, as well as Action Instructor Support and our Measurement Marketing Winner Circle community. So if you're back there, we'd love to hear from you. So reach out and say hi. And as we get started, we always remind you of the one thing. Now, what the heck are we talking about with this one thing? We mean don't try to grab all the things that you're about to learn here in just a moment. Get one thing, take it, make it your own, and then come back and watch us again, maybe at double the speed, and get something else. So let's go ahead and dive in. What's new for November 2023? As we start, we always go back to this one foundational concept. Now, you may know it, or if you don't, this is a great review because all things start here. And that is with our measurement marketing framework, where we know we're going to start out in marketing in the blind. We don't know what's working, what's not. Even if we've been marketing for years and it's a brand new user journey, new funnel, we're marketing in the blind. And we want to be able to grow those profits and revenue reliably. We want to know what button to push, what lever to pull, what thing to do, what action to take to do the things we wanted to do. So how do we do that? We go through our plan and our build and our launch. To plan, we have to go from questions, information, and action. We have to know what question to ask, information we need, and the actions we need to take in order to go to our build, where we get results, traffic, story, and then in launch, we have listen, forecast, and optimize. Now, this is like the 100,000 foot view of this. We do have an entire course for free out there that can guide you through this entire concept, this entire framework. So if you're interested, just hang out for a little bit after this course and you can hear all about that. So what's new for November 2023? Let's go ahead and dive into first Google Analytics 4. Well, guess what? Google Analytics 4 has a brand new admin look, completely different than what we are normally used to seeing. So if I'm like basically in our home section, and I'm just going to show you how different this is. We're going to pop over to the admin, and yep, this is the way it looks. So we first have our account, and then we have our property settings. So this account was the old left-hand column. This property settings, some of this is well, I guess most of this was all in that middle section, but they were kind of organized and rearranged slightly differently. So some of the names have changed and some of them have not. So we have data collection and modification, and then we have our data stream. This is the thing you're probably going to look for most of the time when you're trying to at least get set up and you're activating, configuring your property and your data stream. So that's where you want to go. And you notice now you're over here under this, and you don't see that big whole section of all of the other things you were just seeing. So to get there, you just click back on the admin and you go there. And so just kind of be aware of where everything is at. We've already done one really quick measurement minute to guide you through that as soon as it was live. And then we'll have an upcoming workshop to guide you through step by step on everything else. So this is just a quick little overview, like, hey, things change. You probably already do that, but just be aware of that. The names have changed, but a lot of the functionality and everything is going to be the exact same. It's just kind of poking around to see where things are at. And you have all of that there. So this was the biggest GA4 change, and so we just got to get used to the way it looks now. And then if you click on the create, this is how you would choose a account or a property. So remember, your account is the highest level. A property is kind of like the sub-level inside of an account. It's not very apparent with the way they've done this time. And so meaning if I back out, let's go back in here, because right here, because I'm in my teaching account, so we have our teaching property. So here's our accounts, and inside this account we have all of these different properties that we've done for teaching and stuff like that. So it's not very apparent when we come into our admin section and then we're trying to I noticed the create button went away. That's weird. Where's the create button? That's probably a flaw. But look at that. We're finding things as we're going through and recording. So if I go into the, let me go back into our, okay, I think I see what's going on here. This is one of those things I think is probably going to be fixed probably pretty quickly because it seems like a weird UX thing. So I'm going to give you in this direction. So you see this little arrow that's over here to the left of my mouse. This is where a video editor Vince gets to work his magic and show you this little arrow thing. So if I click on this guy, sometimes the reason I'm hesitating because this guy gets in the way. So if you click on this guy, then it pops up. So we have all of that. If I go into the reports, and so I'm not seeing, and this is that nav. If I pull open this nav, that's what's open up here. If I go back to our admin section, this thing is still here, so I close it and open it. So that's how we get to this create. It is super weird that when you're here, you don't get to see it. So that definitely seems like a design flaw, or it's not as obvious as that you can create a property or an account from here. So definitely feel like that will be improved soon. So, and also with your Google Analytics for updates for the month of November, kind of what's been going on the past several weeks. Very recently, you are now able to pull item scope custom parameters into the BigQuery export. So if you're using BigQuery with other tools like Analytics Canvas, Mix Analytics, any of these other things that are grabbing BigQuery data straight into Looker Studio, you now have the ability to grab some item scope custom parameters. So those are, I think, e-commerce type stuff when you're using item scopes. So if you have zero idea what item scoped is, then you probably aren't using them. So a little bit more advanced or a little bit more, you're going to be very aware if you're using these. So if you have no idea, then just reach out to us in the Winner Circle. We'll be happy to guide you there as well. So that was analytics. Now we're going to jump into Google Tag Manager, something actually really exciting with this. And so let's go ahead and dive in, and I'll kind of walk you through what we have going on. So for Tag Manager, the entire year has been all things server-side, 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 server-side. And then obviously we did have the new Google Tag thing that kind of switched over earlier this year, about a month and a half ago. The new Google Tag thing switched. So that was the non-server-side thing. Now, what has actually happened is we now have this ability to import and export sessions as you're debugging. So I will be honest, my first thought of this was like, why in the world would you need to do that? That seems like it'd be so hard to understand, and it'd be really hard to, it says fix issues with your tags. And when I first read this and going through, I was thinking like, that would be really hard for somebody to read and understand what the heck is going on. And we come in through here and it's like, it sends it in a JSON format. And I'm like, and I'm just like, how does that work? So before you make a vast, quick judgment like I did, I encourage you to go through and play with this. And we're actually going to work through this together so you can see. And we just actually talked about this in our measurement mastermind. We have every Wednesday a group call where just kind of masterminds together. And they were giving some great opinions on how they felt it could be useful for them too. Like we have different systems and different processes already in place to do things like that I'm about to show you, but the way that they were saying it, I was like, ooh, that makes it a whole lot easier for us. So I want to show you. So we're going to go ahead and go preview in here, and we're just going to go straight to the home page. And what we're going to do is we're just going to bounce around like a normal user would do. So we're going to go ahead and check out these free tools. What are these free tool things that were going on? Ooh, we have all kind of cool stuff going on here. Let's see here. I don't want that. I want to actually go to the Academy. I want to do that. So I'm going to jump down here and I'm going to go through. We're just going to go through all this cool, super amazing stuff. Hey, look at all those super cool instructors. Okay, so that's enough. We're not going to keep going too far. And so we had already had that stuff there. So what we can do is we click on these little dots, which, by the way, in case you didn't know, it's called the overflow menu. I don't know, I just always called it the three dots, but apparently Google calls it the overflow menu. And then we can choose to export the session. here it's going to go to your usual how to save something. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And when we click, it's going to go ahead and say, hey, you sure you want to do this? And we can obviously click on that link if we wanted to learn more. Then we're going to click export. And then it gives us a little name. And this one actually is the second time we're doing this today. So I'm going to go ahead and say save. And it just drops it down there. And you can see it's doing its download thing because that's what it shows. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and remove this. Now, what I could technically do is go into a completely different Google Tag Manager container. That's one way to do this. And that's kind of the way that I thought that everything would how someone would troubleshoot. I'm like, that just seems kind of weird. Like, I get how possibly like our students and our instructors could use that maybe, but what I'm about to show you makes so much more sense. So it's actually kind of exciting. So let's go ahead and we're going to go to preview. So remember, when you export a container, import a container, there's this stuff here. That's not what we're doing. We're going to go back to here. We're going to go to our preview. And then we're going to go ahead and get out of this guy here. And we're going to click on these three guys. And then it says import session. That's what we're doing. And then we're going to click on our one that has the one in parentheses. And now you might have to, depending on your setup and how many tag managers you might have on the page. We obviously teach, so we have lots of other things going on. So we have other things. So you might have to kind of switch which one of these you're using. And we obviously have server side and other things going on too. So just be aware which one you're clicking on. And so what we can see here, we can see, hey, when it was recorded, and it's basically walking us through what happened. So I come back here to the first page. This is the cool part, is you could see everything in the data layer. You could see all your variables depending on where you're at. So remember all the times where you had to go back through and test something because you wanted to know maybe, hey, what variables did you have access to when you were clicking on something? Maybe you wanted to adjust your tag manager to set something else up, or maybe you wanted to set it up on a some sort of an extra event, like hey, when there's free tools or something like that. So there's so many different troubleshooting things that you could do. The way that our measurement mastermind group kind of thought is that it could be, instead of like when you're auditing or going through and just kind of taking a record of your user journey or your client's user journey, normally we record everything and take a bunch of screenshots, and this would kind of alleviate that. Like, you'd still go through and do a video recording of you going through, but then you would have this record to go along with your videos, like, okay, I clicked on that, and then you can show what is firing, what's not firing, and then what information is being passed through, or videos and all this other different stuff. You can go through and do that. What they like the most is that you can go through and see the data layer and all the different variables at each step. And you, like, thinking back through to like test purchases, you don't have to ask the client to do another test purchase, or you don't have to do another test purchase and ask for a refund, because a lot of the information is here for you that you may need. To know what was that URL again when you go through and do a test purchase, or what are the parameters when you see after you do a test purchase, what do you see? All of that is here. So while you may not use this as what they were kind of intending for, like triaging, the word they called it's a triage or troubleshooting, and they kind of made it seem like you're going to pass it back and forth through different containers. You may do that, but this definitely seems like it would be a great way of logging when you make some changes for a client or for yourself, and then you just want to have a record so it's easier for you to get to the information when you need it. If you're a beginner to Google Tag Manager, this might not be something you want to do yet, but as your agency grows or as your skills grow, this definitely seems like something would be great for an SOP to do on the regular to keep things a little bit more organized. I know our team is already kind of thinking of cool ideas to be able to utilize this. And then just another quick reminder, because I mentioned all the server-side things. If you are using server-side, please, please, please go through these updates and just make sure that you're staying up to date with all things server-side with Tag Manager, because they have made a lot of different changes throughout the year of making things easier for you. So just make sure you stay up to date on those. Next up is Looker Studio. All right, with Looker Studio, there was a couple of little new options that you can do. I'm not going to dive too deep into those because they're definitely going to be a future workshop. But also a really, really important reminder that while it is super cool that we have all these new features in our Looker Studio free platform, and everyone loves all the dashboarding tools and all the different things that you can do, which is now drilling down and all these other different things that you can do. It You have to focus on your plan first, because if you're jumping in here and starting to like, ooh, now I can build it this way, now I can build it that way, or just wanting to build just to build, it can be very frustrating for you if you're not getting the results you want to. So make sure that you always go through the measure marketing framework, and you always make sure you start with a plan, which involves your questions, your information, and your actions. You need to make sure that you can still take action. If you can't take action, or if this makes it harder to take action, then you don't need it. However, if this type of new feature makes it easier for you to take action, then absolutely go for it. The reason I hesitate with some of these drill down options is because most of the time, most of the clients that we build dashboards for, they don't want to have to do this. They want it at their fingertips. They want to glance at their dashboard and they want to be able to see that it's there and ready. So it could be most likely creating this and filtering it on its own and then having that page automatically populated that way instead of having your client or stakeholder do the clicking. You're asking them to do extra stuff. There is the option of maybe you have the client that does like to drill down. We have a couple of those where they want to do all the filtering and all that stuff for them. So this may be a great option for those type of people. So just know your audience and know what kind of actions they want to be able to take, because you don't want to make it harder or more frustrating for them. Or you don't want to make it more frustrating for yourself either if you're building things and they're not able to use them the way you're expecting them to. So just always circle back to the measure marketing framework and make sure that you're kind of tying it to your KIA, your questions, information, and action on that. So that's why we're not going to go too far in here, because I know it's all the fancy buttons and things can make it seem super cool, but it is a kind of a little bit of a rabbit hole if you don't need it. And so it's kind of like a little pro tip for you. All right, what's new with other platforms like Microsoft Clarity and some other fun tools out there? And so let's go ahead and jump into those. So with Microsoft Clarity, as you can see, their look completely changed a couple of weeks ago, and so it's kind of a little bit more fun, in my opinion. And also, if you come into Microsoft Clarity of like all the different updates, it is constantly changing. And so if you have not hopped onto the Clarity bandwagon, it is a free tool, forever free, and you go to the homepage, it'll tell you that. And it is free. It is easy to set up, takes you a matter of minutes, and it is kind of, think of the Microsoft version of Google. And so it depends on which coin you flip on. Either one could be evil to you, but there's a lot of good data that Microsoft is being able to provide with Clarity. And one of my favorite parts is that we get heat maps, and we get recordings. And so it's recording everything, no matter what you're doing, obviously, unless you say don't record, like with Tag Manager telling it not to. But we have all that. I want to go ahead and refresh since I've been in here for a little bit. There we go. Now we can go back to our heat map, and there it's going to start doing its little thing. And so right now it's looking at the clicks, and we switch to our scroll, which is a home page, and we're going to give it just a sec to kind of figure itself out. There it goes. And so because a lot of people come in and log in, so it makes sense that most of our audience is staying above the fold. That's kind of the intention with this particular page, and we go through and see all this. So this is obviously Microsoft Clarity and some of the other updates that we have. If we come in just to see their homepage, so the layout just changed, and some of the new options that we have are changing with live users that are on mobile. But the one that I really wanted to tell you about is that if you use Zapier, you can now utilize Clarity and Zapier together. And so what it's saying is that you can look at your dashboard metrics. So come into dashboard and you can use Zapier for these dashboard metrics. So it could be like maybe you want to know if their sessions goes down to 0 or to a certain number. That would kind of alert you that something may be broken or wrong with a page. Or maybe if there's all of a sudden you have a dead clicks or rage clicks gets to a certain threshold, or something else that you're looking for. Maybe you want to know if quickbacks gets too high on maybe a cart, meaning they click back to the previous page really fast. So that's a really, really useful way. Another really useful way to utilize Clarity there. If you are already using Zapier, if you're already using Clarity, so that's just another nifty way for that. And I'm assuming that this integration is just going to get better and better as time goes on. And then the other thing too is if you are using Hotjar, which is not a free tool, it is a paid tool. But they are also constantly updating with new options where you can send information to other different platforms. So if you are using these type of tools, it's always useful to kind of stay up to date, especially with all the AI stuff constantly changing. You're going to want to kind of every couple of weeks jump in here to double check, or obviously just keep watching the What's New workshops, and we will keep you up to date to let you know if there's anything that could be relevant to you in the measurement marketing world. So what is coming up soon in the Measurement Marketing Academy? Well, we do have something new and exciting coming up in the Measurement Marketing Academy. Let's go ahead and take a look what that might be. So inside the Measurement Marketing Academy, if you come into your Win courses, you come over here and there is this new course that we're going to be updating. Technically, it's not a new course. It's a new update to a existing course. It's called Win Forecasting Revenue and Results. We will be recording this update live the week of November 6th. So in 6th, 7th, and 8th, we're going to be recording this live. If you want to be a part of that, you have to be part of the Measurement Marketing Academy and then just jump in and click on here. You also get the emails and the replays. And so that way you can be in the classroom, the Measurement Marketing Academy classroom, asking questions to the instructors and be able to go through and use the tools live with them, and just be a part of that. So if you want to do that, just jump in there. But this one is going to be really, really good for forecasting, obviously revenue and results, but just kind of the way of thinking of forecasting and how to truly, truly help your client get the results they're looking for. It's one thing to be able to give your client a conversion rate, but it's another thing to be able to give your client this is where your profit should be. This is where your revenue should be. This is where we expect, because of the trends and patterns, is where we're expecting things to be for your next launch. And to be able to work through those numbers and kind of, strategize with them and be able to give them that. You're giving them an incredible, incredible value that a lot of agencies don't provide. And so if you're able to do that with learning through this, it'd be amazing, because it's definitely a missing piece out there from what we can tell through what the conversations we've had. A lot of people don't get that strategy part, and so you can definitely learn that here in Win Forecasting Revenue Results next week. And then that is all we have. So what was your one thing? Whatever it is, I'm sure it is amazing. And before you jump out, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you back and watch another What's New and all the other workshops we do in between. And just as a reminder, if you are curious about that whole framework thing, we mentioned there was a free course out there. If you want the free course and you want some of those free tools you kind of saw as we were going through our demonstration, if you want some of those cool things, then you could go ahead and join the Measurement Marketing Academy. We do have a paid version and a free version. That's how you get the free course. And if you want to learn more, just go to measure.tips/getacademy and you can learn more about that, or just click on the link below and it'll take you there as well. You can choose which option works best for you. And if you do join the Measurement Marketing Academy, make sure you jump into the Winner Circle, which is an entire Slack workspace. Jump in there and let us know you're here, and we'd love to hear from you and say hi and reach out to everybody in there for you. We are waiting for you. And so that's what's new for November 2023. We'll see you next time.